Infrastructure Committee. We've got actually, let's do our public comment period first. Did we have anyone sign up for the public comment period? So for those who are not aware, that's an opportunity for the public to address the body regarding matters that are on the agenda. We didn't have any sign-ups. Is anybody in the gallery here wishing to address the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee with a public comment? I'm not seeing anyone, so that will conclude our public comment period. We've got a pretty lengthy agenda. Most of it is on consent. I'll just go ahead and say I've got everything but RS 2024-270, 2024-288, and then BL 2024-238. I've got everything except those three on the consent agenda right now. And I'm going to read through, probably just jump straight in with the full captions of the items on the consent agenda. And if you need something removed from that consent agenda, just let me know after I read through it, and we will remove it and have discussion on it. All right, so first item on the consent agenda is, this is bills on second reading, committee item 3. This is BL 2024-232 by Gamble, Porterfield, Stiles, and Parker. This approves a greenway conservation easement between the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and Heritage Creek Homeowners Association Incorporated for greenway improvements. Committee item 4, this is BL 2024-233 by Gamble, Porterfield, Stiles, and Parker. This approves a greenway conservation easement between the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and Clayton Property Groups for greenway improvements. Committee item 5, this is BL 2024-234 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to negotiate and accept permanent and temporary easements for the Warren Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for 8 properties located on Swinging Bridge Road and Warren Drive. Committee item 6, this is BL 2024-235 by Toombs, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public utility and stormwater drainage easement rights for property located at 325 West Trinity Lane. Committee item 7, this is BL 2024-236 by Coupin, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public utility and drainage easement rights for property located at 909 Division Street. Committee item 8, this is BL 2024-237 by Porterfield, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to construct new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and to accept easements for property located at 104 Duluth Avenue, and authorizing the Director of Metro Water Services or his designee to execute a mutual release of liability. Folks, if we could keep the chatter a little more indoor voice, please. It's a little loud up here. That seemed to work. Okay. Thank you all. So committee item 10, this is BL 2024-239 by Bradford, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon an existing public water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for property located at 1 Terminal Drive, also known as B&A Concourse D expansion. Committee item 11, this is BL 2024-240. Folks, if we could please, if you need to have some spirited discussion, if you could step outside, please. Thank you. Did I read item 11? There's a couple airport ones. I'll read item 11 again, just to be safe. So committee item 11, this is BL 2024-240 by Bradford, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public water mains and to accept a new public water main and public fire hydrant assembly for property located at 1 Terminal Drive, also known as Terminal Drive Water Main Expansion. Committee item 12, this is BL 2024-241 by Parker and Gamble. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 6 properties located on Meridian Street and Luton Street, also known as the Grove at Meridian. Committee item 13, this is BL 2024-242 by Parker and Gamble. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 110 Berry Street and 125 Meridian Street, also known as Dickerson and Meridian. Committee item 14, this is BL 2024-243 by Coupin, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon public sewer mains, public sewer manholes, and associated public easements for 2 properties located at 109 9th Avenue North and 900 Broadway, also known as Christ Church Cathedral. Committee item 15, this is BL 2024-244 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 9828 Split Log Road in Williamson County, also known as the Rosebrook Section 5. Committee item 16, this is BL 2024-245 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for property located at 1686 Sunset Road, Nolensville, in Williamson County. Committee item 17, this is BL 2024-246 by Ellis, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept a new public water main, public fire hydrant assembly, and public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 455 Rural Hill Road, also known as Lakeview Elementary School. Committee item 18, this is BL 2024-247 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 2221 Elliston Place. Committee item 19, this is BL 2024-248 by Cash, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 2825 West End Avenue, also known as Chase Bank West End. Committee item 20, this is 2024-249 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 107 4th Avenue North. Committee item 21, this is BL 2024-250 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at Spring Branch Drive, unnumbered, also known as Spring Branch Drive subdivision. Committee item 22, this is BL 2024-251 by Kimbrough, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon existing public water main and easement and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, replacement of fire hydrant assembly and easements for property located at Ashland City Highway, unnumbered, also known as Eaton Creek Commons, Phase 2. And lastly, we have committee item 23. This is BL 2024-252 by Gamble, Parker, and Taylor. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to accept new sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 2504 Booker Street. And that is the last item on our consent agenda. Could someone please move the consent agenda? Okay, consent agenda has been properly moved and seconded. Does anything need to be removed from the consent agenda? Or is there any discussion about the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Thank you. You recommend approval of the consent agenda. We added Horton, is that right? Thank you. All right, so first item we have that was not on the consent agenda is committee item 1. This is a resolution. This is RS 2024-270 by Coopin, Porterfield, Gamble, and Parker. This approves a memorandum of understanding related to the proposed development of a multi-use performance space for the Tennessee Performance Arts Center on East Bank property owned by the Metropolitan government. And we have the bill's sponsor present here, so I will go first to Councilmember Coopin. Do you have a motion on your bill?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move for a deferral to the April 2nd meeting with a brief comment.
All right, properly moved and seconded. Please go ahead.
Thanks. So just want to let the public know, or anybody watching or tracking with this, that we're going to defer this to the 2nd to track with a potential 3rd reading for the East Bank Master Development Agreement as well. There's a chance that there will be a deferral in there somewhere for the East Bank ordinance, and then this will need to be moved again, but this way it is tracking for the potential 3rd reading on the East Bank ordinance.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Any other discussion, questions, comments on the resolution? All right, so we have a recommendation to defer to April 2nd. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the recommendation to defer, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? We have, is that an abstention, council member? All right, Councilmember Evan Siegel is abstaining. So that's 10-4. Got it. All right, so we recommend that deferral to April 2nd, 10 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstaining. All right, second item we have left is also a resolution. This is RS 2024-288 by Gamble, Johnston, Druffel, and others. This is a resolution requesting that the Planning Department, Department of Codes and Building Safety, Historic Preservation Offices, Metro Water Services, and Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure to conduct the necessary technical studies as determined by the departments to provide a comprehensive analysis of recommended changes to the Metropolitan Code of Laws that would increase allowable density in Nashville and Davidson County and make recommendations regarding land use policy, which incorporates affordable and workforce housing strategies that can be supported by existing and planned infrastructure. Do we have a motion on this resolution? It's been moved and seconded. So we have the lead sponsor present. Would you like to make a comment, sponsor? I know you're not a committee member, but we will recognize you as the lead sponsor.
Thank you for recognizing me. As don't serve on this committee, I would like to entertain a motion to defer for one meeting with an explanation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I would like to defer this resolution for one meeting in order to allow time for first the public to get an understanding of what this study is, why it's being conducted, and what are the outcomes that we expect to get from it, and also to allow time for the planning department and the other departments that will be collaborating with planning on this study to look if they can get us the information and the recommendations, the final report sooner than the August 1st deadline that is currently in the resolution. So we'll be deferring one meeting to have those discussions to look at a different timeline, a sooner timeline for the release of the report.
Thank you, Councilmember, for the explanation. Could a committee member please make the motion to defer one meeting? I see move to defer and properly seconded. So any discussion on motion to defer this resolution one meeting? Okay, so all those in favor of recommending a one meeting deferral of this item, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? So that's 11-0. Thank you. All right, and lastly, we have, I wasn't sure if I needed to pull this off of consent or not, but this is bills on second reading, I believe. Yeah, bills on second reading. We have BL 2024-238 by Parker and Gamble. This authorizes the Metropolitan government to abandon easement rights for properties located at 661B Joseph Avenue, a small portion of Joseph Avenue at Berry Street, and 600B Joseph Avenue along the north side of the former Berry Street. So we have a late filed amendment that the developer's attorney sent over and requested. It's a technical correction that was emailed out to all the members, and I'll be going to the Rules Committee tomorrow to explain the late filed nature of that. Should we get a recommendation on the late filed amendment from the committee? Okay, well, we're gonna try for that. So can I move it as the chair and the sponsor, or do I need to have another member move it? All right, so I will move the bill if I could get a second. I could properly moved and seconded, and I will move the late amendment, which is a technical correction to the originally filed legislation. I see a second back there. Any discussion or questions on the late amendment? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the late filed amendment, please say aye. Aye. So we have 11. I'm sorry, any against and any not voting? All right, recommend approval of the late amendment. 11-0-0. And if we could get I'll move the bill as amended. Seconded. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, all those in favor of the bill as amended, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, we recommend approval of the bill as amended. Thank you very much. And that concludes our regular business. I don't have any scheduled departmental updates, but I did want to remind everyone that the Mayor's Office Transportation team is scheduling one-on-one meetings with council members to discuss the transit improvement plan and to hear about your district and your feedback about the potential plan. So if you haven't gotten to schedule yours yet, please reach out to Michael Briggs or anyone in the Mayor's office and they can connect you to the right folks to get that scheduled. I hope that all our committee members have gone ahead and done that. But they want to talk to everybody, and they're working on a plan, and we're hoping to see something more substantial by the end of the month or around the end of the month. And with that, I believe we can conclude this meeting of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Thank you all.